Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to Pastor Six Podcast. I'm your host, JB. As always, joining me, Tsunamic Wave. What's going on, bro? Muted.
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling good. A little tired. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Shout out to all the support we've been getting, everybody in the chat and everything like that. Yo, so interesting time in gaming. We got some stuff to talk about this week. We got some games this week in gaming. If you guys don't know, the show's split into 4 parts. We start out with what games we're currently playing. Then from there, we're going to this week in gaming. We briefly look back on games that dropped throughout this week in history. Then from there, we'll get into some topics. Then we'll end with one gotta go, game versus, or the spin wheel. I brought the spin wheel back. I thought the spin wheel was fun last week. Well,
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
no doubt, no doubt. So with that said, let's kick it off, man. What games you been currently playing, bro?
Oh man, I really been one game really, which is Diablo 4. I've been trying to like get my my level up, within the season because
Yep.
the season. I mean, the season restart in October, so I got time. But as an educator, I get a summer, and I've been working through the summer, so I'm trying to get my last little bit of time in before school start again, because it won't be no grinding when school
Absolutely.
start. You know what I mean? But
Absolutely.
I put a little bit of work in the Apex, but for the most part, I've been Diabloing it out.
What's your thoughts on that game? I know when we did the episode before we took the break, you was talking about how it was anticipated. I mean, we did a whole thing on it. Obviously, it's been out now for going on 2 months now. What's your thoughts on that game, real quick?
I think it crushed the expectations. I'm not gonna lie. They kind of made it a little bit closer. I know I made that a point to talk about last time. You know how I say they got like the overview camera. They made it
Right.
a little bit closer, so when it comes to the cosmetics and switching it up, you is more visual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
but as far as the gameplay and the new classes go, I think did a good job. It's a really great storyline. I just finished the storyline. I think it's really good. I'm not gonna spoil anything, so I'm just
Right.
gonna
Right.
stick
Okay.
to it. It's a really good storyline. you know.
No doubt. No doubt. And shout out to the comments. Just said she's playing Mario Kart 8, which obviously I know my daughter Jada, she loves Mario Kart, bro. Loves Mario Kart. She played with all the characters. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy to see. It's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a
My
bad
daughter
thing, but
love it too.
it's
She's
crazy to
actually
see.
really good, and she's 5, and
Yo,
she's
yo, it's
good at it.
shocking, right?
Great.
Same age, so like, it's shocking, right? How
Yes,
like,
yes. I'm
like,
amazed at how good she is at the racing.
word. So for me, I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty, man. I kind of fell back into it ever since I did that gigantic update. I was like, you know what, I gotta play it, right? I played it.
Hmm.
The new maps are cool, but Call of Duty is Call of Duty, right? Um, this just the it's like you said. Like I remember I asked you, like, if they still cheating in COD. He was like, yeah, they still cheating in COD.
Yeah,
It's exactly how I felt, bro. I was like, come on, bro. like,
yeah.
but yeah, man. Like I know season 4, I think is about to drop soon. I'm not too hype on the seasons and all that, but yeah, just having fun with that. I also played some WWE 2K23 just because again they had a DLC pack with some new wrestlers and stuff like that. Just wanted to check that out. I know I'm missing something. I know I'm missing something. Can't think right now, but those two are probably the biggest ones. Actually, no. I finally finished Trek to Yomi.
Oh yeah, yeah. Check
Um,
the Yomi, track the
yeah,
Yomi. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
I went back and played that. That game is dope, man. I don't know how I just fell off of it. I think around Christmas time, new games come out. You know what I mean? Just kind of
Yeah,
hop on those games. But nah, that game is incredible. I love the simplistic nature of it. It was like a throwback. You know what I mean? To
right.
like I felt like it could have been on like to be honest, it could have been on any console, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the
Hmm.
game was so smooth, the gameplay, I just love that game. But yeah, man, yo, so let's jump into this week in gaming. We briefly look back on games that dropped throughout this week in history, and kicking this off, man, is a game that I'm not the before anybody kills me, I'm not the biggest fan of this console, But we're talking about Super Mario Land on the Game Boy, released 34 years ago. First off, 34 years ago. Yeah, wait, how you feel about that, bro?
Cause you ain't gotta put me on the spot. You ain't had to put me on the spot like that, bro. I feel I was looking at this like, dang, that's how games looked when I was a kid. I mean, the Game Boy is, I ain't gonna put my age out there, but I remember the Game Boy. I didn't have Mario for the Game Boy. I had Mario for Nintendo. So
Yep.
seeing it in black and white was kind of, different for me. And I could see why the kids don't really are not fond of going back and playing the older
Right.
games. You know what I mean? Um, it's cool though. It's Mario. I mean, it's the 2D Mario. It's not the Mario we got today. But
Right.
if you are familiar with the 2D Mario, I think it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Um, and for Game Boy back in the day, if you know about Game Boy, it was cool for Game Boy. I mean, it's not it's simplistic, it's simple, but it's dope. It's dope. It's Mario. Mario always been dope since the 80s.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's funny, man, because like this is a game that I literally played, but I played as an emulator, right? Back in the
Yeah.
day, like the mid 2000s, got the computer, you go online, you play whatever, like whatever game you want. So I was just playing mad Game Boy games. This is one of them. Actually, I think I actually have this game because I'm pretty sure you can play this in the Game Boy Color, even though it's still black and white. But I remember playing this game, bro. This is one of those games that I think is dope. But at the same time, at that point when I played it, I was already, I think Mario 64 was out, Sunshine was out for the GameCube. I want to say even Galaxy 1 was out for the Wii. So at that point, I'm like, okay, it's a little dated, obviously, but Mario's Mario.
Yes.
It's like it's like Sonic, right? No matter what, it's gonna be type dope. And nobody in the comments say anything about Sonic. He's still that dude.
Sonic was a
But
little
yeah,
more
man.
fast paced than this. I ain't gonna front.
Yeah. Nah, of course. But Sonic, but to be fair, like Sonic wasn't on the Game Boy. You know what I mean? If it was on the Game Boy,
Yeah.
it might have been a little slower. but but yeah, man. So like, yeah, I mean, I think you summed it up best. Mario's Mario, right? At the end of the day, is we know what we're gonna get, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Nah.
But kicking it again, so we actually celebrating another anniversary, and that is Tetris. Now, Tetris is a game I did play. This is actually the first game I ever played on Game Boy at all. Was Tetris, and this game, man, obviously it dropped 34 years ago. Both these games dropped on the same day, man. So I actually like Tetris a lot. I find it very addicting, but I will be completely honest to say it is probably the only puzzle game that I like. And I know some people like how you know what I mean? If you like
Yeah.
puzzle games, you like puzzle games. But for some reason, I only like Tetris. It's the only puzzle game I like. like, obviously I played ones, beyond this one, but it has to be Tetris. I know that will make zero. I know that makes zero sense at all, but it's just how it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Tetris in general and this one in
I
particular?
mean, Tetris just remind me of my grandmother, man. I'm be honest with you. Like she wasn't into video games, but this was the only video game she played. Like she owned the Nintendo, a Super Nintendo, just to play Tetris. Like
Right,
so when I think of Tetris, that's where my brain automatically go to. I actually played this about a couple of weeks ago, and not this one, not the regular game, normal Game Boy one, the one that's colored, because Nintendo put out the Game Boy games. I meant the Game Boy and the Nintendo games kind of like in two different versions, in the color version and obviously on the Game Boy the black and white version because they didn't have the ability to make it in color.
right.
So I introduced my 5-year-old to this game because she was killing it in Mario Kart. So I'm like, all right, so you getting a hold of games. Let me let you play an old school game that's
Right.
sort of difficult. And this one kind of, tripped her up a little bit and got to her nerves a bit. And I'm like, yeah, that's the beauty of games.
Yeah.
Sometimes you killing it, sometimes it's not so much. So you got to go through the ups and downs. So in order to give her a little down, that probably sound bad, but to make her get her a little down on games and her ability, I had to let her play this, and it's only because she couldn't get the concept at first. And then when
Right.
she got it, I don't really think she really cared for it too much after that. She just wanted to put the pieces down.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
I mean, and that's fair because like that's like having the kids starting out with who about to play MK 11 or MK1 next month. All of a sudden, you show them like, nah, play this MK1. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
nah, I don't want to play that. Like, like I'm good. Like, where's the move list at? Like,
right, right.
so
But that's how I was introduced because I had to play the first Nintendo, even though Super Nintendo was out. I got the first Nintendo first, and then the Super Nintendo. So
right.
that's the same way I kind of came into the gaming space. So I'm just paying it forward. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Shout out to Gunter Koch for checking out the show. If I mispronounce your name, please let me know. I just happened to see it come across the screen. But yeah, man, Tetris 34 years ago, man. It's like time is getting up there. So like it's crazy because like we made that post about how the GameCube, the Xbox, the PlayStation 2, like that generation was 20 years ago plus now. So it's like widely defined as retro, right? And people are like, "What? Ain't no way in hell." I'm like, "It is." Like, think about how rare. How, like last decade, we looked at the 64, the PlayStation, right?
Right.
The Sega Saturn and stuff like that. We looked at that as retro, and now we're a whole decade later. So guess what that means? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like so, like, if you think about it now, like games like at this point, 20 years ago, the Dreamcast was already discontinued, right? GameCube, Xbox, PS2 was already. You could make the case. Some say towards the end, some say towards the middle of their life cycle. At this point, we're 2 years away from the 360 being 20 years old. Yeah, like
Yeah,
that
we
old.
5 years
Yeah.
away from Grand Theft Auto 5 being 20 years old too.
Yo, you ain't gotta do that. You ain't got to do that, bro. You ain't got to do that. I'm just saying, you ain't got to do.
Still waiting for GTA 6.
Yo,
Just
I
want to
feel
put
you,
that
bro. I
out
feel
there.
you. I feel you. But yeah, man. Yo, let's get to the next game, man. Yo, the next game we talk about is a game that I absolutely love, man. NFL Blitz 2000
Oh
came out
yeah.
on a PlayStation 1 64 and the Dreamcast 24 years ago, man. Yo, NFL Blitz, man. If you don't know what NFL Blitz is, it's literally think about actually I guess you wouldn't even know what Streets is either, right? But think of it like the lawless NFL football game, right? Unlike Madden. But yo, you had to be there, man. This game was special. I absolutely love this game. Endless amounts of fun. Multiplayer, of course. If you're playing on the 64, it's 4 players. You playing on the arcade is 4 players. If you're playing on Dreamcast, it's 4 players. PS1, I don't remember if you could play 4 players with the multi-tap or not. But yeah, this game was dope, man. Like a lot of people, I think, feel like if you missed out, you missed out. But what's your thoughts on NFL Blitz 2000, man?
Man, I had first of all, I had it for the 64. I wanted to put
Okay,
out the
same.
system because I feel like the 64 just had a little bit better graphics than this looked like the PlayStation version.
This is.
Yeah, put
Let's see. Yep.
64 had a little bit better graphics than this. But this like I feel like a game like this was a game where you wouldn't break your controller. I'm gonna explain. You know how when you playing Madden or 2K, any basketball football game, and you getting destroyed, you get up. Some people get upset enough where they would throw their controller, like because there's nothing you can do. There's literally
Right.
nothing you can do. This is not one of those games. Somebody beating you up, beating you by 20, 30, 50. You can just continually tackle them after the play. So that's kind
Absolutely.
of you can kind of get your frustration out on a game like this. I never had to go through anything like that because I was pretty good at this game. I was the one
I
doing the stomping. I'm not gonna lie,
feel
but
you.
I was still also hitting after the play. I mean, they not showing it in this because whoever's playing is just want to play a simulation style. But you could literally, after the play is over, run up and tackle and destroy the person, slam them, all kind of stuff.
Right.
Streets Blitz is a one of a kind game that need to come back out, man. I think that would do really well in this climate of gaming, especially with streaming and all of that stuff and the competitive football scene. I think this would do really well. I think they should remaster it and come back. They probably can't because of licensing, but it would
Let me
be
ask
good to
you:
see.
do you think there's a market for that? You think there
for
is?
for Blitz.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. A
Okay.
lawless football game. People. I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but I've spoken to a lot of people who feel like the NFL has gone soft, and I don't see it. But I've spoken to a lot of people that feel that way. This would bring the toughness back to the game without bringing it back
Okay.
to the game, for say. You know what I mean?
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. So let's get to these comments real quick. So just Jessica said, crazy to see it in black and white. I know you're talking about referring to Mario Land. Yeah, like just it's crazy because I mean there was a time when people were like crazy to see it in color. Like like you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was
Um so is there
amazing.
any other puzzle game that has as many knockoff copycats as Tetris? Probably not. It's probably the
No,
OG. I
yeah,
I, I can't see it being anything else. Let's
nah, I
get to this
can't
next
see
game,
nothing.
man. This next game is a game that I want to get your thoughts on, man, because I want to know if you were biggest fan of it as I was, man. And we are talking about, of course, we're talking about Soul Calibur 4. Came out on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 15 years ago, man. Soul Calibur, obviously, we're living in the days at this point, well into the days of Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken. I think they all was on at least their eighth installments. Soul Calibur came into the game, I believe, in 2000 or 99. I forgot the exact year, but it has like its own fan base, right? So I was
Yep.
wondering, like, what was your thoughts on this? Was you a big fan of Calibur? Was you not? Like, what was your thoughts?
Uh, yeah. I mean, I got into Soul Calibur. I wanted actually the first one I believe was on Dreamcast, and I
Okay,
had a Soul Calibur for Dreamcast, and that put me on power. I mean Power Stone. I'm thinking about Power Stone, but Soul Calibur and Power Stone are the two fighting games I have for Dreamcast. I would just put
you're
that
right.
out there while I said Power Stone. But
Yep,
Soul Calibur is really dope. My favorite my favorite character was the dude with the nim chest. I think his name was Maxi.
yep.
Yeah, Maxi. And the weird looking like I think he was like a mix between Edward Scissorhands and the pinhead dude. He had the scissors on his hands, and he was
Okay,
like, what's his name? I can't remember his name. I'm sure somebody that remembers his name will put it in the chat. But
right.
those two characters, I don't think nobody could beat me with. But Soul Calibur 4 in particular, I think this kind of started like the DLC wave. You know what I mean? Like it made
That's a good point.
DLCs okay because like um, they had one specific game that had Yoda in it, one
Darth Vader.
specific
Yep.
game that had Darth Vader, one specific game that had Link in it. And to get all three, I believe you had to buy DLCs to get all of them in the same
That's a good point.
game. And I think that's what opened the door, in my opinion, for people the game companies to be like, oh, this all we gotta do.
Right.
Give them cosmetics or characters and tell them to buy them for whatever price. And then games like Injustice started charging $5.99 for characters, and then for it just went crazy,
And
But
this
the
was an
game is
era where it
super
was kind
dope.
of far fetched.
Yes, that's what I mean. I
Yeah.
think this opened the door to make it okay, and we just went right along with it.
Yeah, maybe too far along, right?
Yeah, yeah, because now
but
we're getting
man,
incomplete games.
Soul Calibur is super duper dope, bro. Like it's one of those games that I absolutely like adore. You know what I mean? Like Soul Calibur is it's literally it's a fighting game, but it has a different feel to it. That's what I appreciate it, right? Like it didn't feel like Street Fighter or Tekken or Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct. It didn't feel like any of that. Like all those games feel legit different. And this had
Right.
its own thing. The only game I say I kind of felt somewhat like it to some degree was maybe Dead or Alive, but even that was different, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think this was the one. I know some say Soul Calibur 2, Soul Calibur 3 was better. I still say 4 is the best one. Although the original on Dreamcast was absolutely incredible as well. But yeah,
Right.
man. But yo, that's all we got for this week in gaming. Next week we have some more stuff to talk about. Let's jump into these topics, man. The first topic we're gonna get into is High on Life. Obviously, was a game that came out on Game Pass. It is now set to release on PlayStation 4 and 5, which is funny because it was deemed as an Xbox exclusive, and it never said it was going to come to Sony consoles, which is fine. Obviously, I think they did what Sony did, where basically I was a Deathloop that had like a year exclusive,
Yeah,
and then it dropped on Xbox. So it's set to come out, I believe, in like, well, actually, I don't think there's an actual release date. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but what's your thoughts on this, man? What was your thoughts on the game? Because obviously we covered the game when the trailers were coming out and stuff like that. I thought the game was hilarious. You know what I mean? Good, but hilarious.
right.
Um, and what's your thoughts on it setting to release? I did see some people kind of upset. I was like, hey, you don't have it like exclusives on Xbox, so why let us go to PlayStation? But that goes to what you've been saying all along about
Yeah.
it not really being a big deal, right?
Nah, not for Xbox at least. I think Xbox is more about the gamer overall than just having exclusivity. I know with the purchases they've been making and all the deals they've been making, it seems kind of crazy, but they not holding nothing. Even with the deal they just made uh for act with Activision, they're not trying to take Call of Duty off of the shelves for PlayStation users either. So
Right.
that's just not something that they really ever seem to be into. Like I'm not PlayStation, I'm not Xbox, so I can't really speak for them, but I'm just speaking on what I'm seeing. But High on Life was a great game. You know what I'm saying? I had fun playing it. It is very how can I say this? The language is very raw.
Yeah, it's not for
If you
kids.
yeah, if you have children, this is not something you should be letting them play. Uh, as you can see from the few clips right there. Um,
Right.
but it's pretty cool for as far as replayability though. I'm not sure it's there.
Yeah.
I played it for a little while and I kind of fell off the wagon with it and never just had that, oh, let me get back on high life. And I think um it's maybe because of the story. It's not as great as I thought it would be. The gameplay is cool. The story needed a little work.
Sure.
The mechanics is pretty awesome. It's pretty cool too. I'm not gonna sit here and act like is not good, but you really need to be well timed to have fun with this game. So if you're somebody that's not really good at with timing, you
Right.
probably won't enjoy this game too much. But it is a dope game. Give it a try, even if that's the case. And I think you might enjoy it. It's funny.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Let me ask you this. Would this have changed? Would your opinion have changed if it did, if you never saw the trailer of the game? So you kind of went into it somewhat blind, right? To like the aesthetic of the game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I was, you know me. Um, when I'm really high on a game and it don't meet my expectations, I kind of like, kind of separate myself from it.
Yep.
Like Cyberpunk, that was a game I was really ready for, and it just didn't pan out. And I it's in the back of my what's in it games that I just don't even have downloaded. But High
Right.
on Life, yeah, I was anticipating this for like a good year. I just couldn't wait for it to come out. And with the creators of Rick and Morty, I thought the story would be cool because Rick and Morty is the creators did a really good job with Rick and Morty as far as the story
Absolutely.
go and the way it's played. I think is was really dope. So to then come in and then the line is not as good as I thought it would be. Um, like I said, the mechanics of the game was cool, but it was the time like it was a little bit more than I was expecting. Like you really have to be on your timing to enjoy that game, and I'm not always the best when it come to that. So that kind of threw me off too. It didn't take away from the experience though. It was cool for what it was worth. But could it have been better? Yes, I think the story could have been a little bit better. I think they could have added a lot more into um, the characters in itself because the weapons are characters too. So
Yeah.
they could have put a lot more into the characters themselves as far as like what they had to say, what they could say. But the people that is don't have Xbox and got only PlayStation and they're about to experience it, I'm gonna let y'all experience it that yourselves and just really pay attention to the dialect and the storyline in general, and you'll see what I mean. You know what I mean? I don't want to
Absolutely.
make it seem like it's not a game that you should try and play, you absolutely should. Um, I just think for what I was expecting, it didn't meet that.
That's fair. Hell, that's more than fair. Um, yeah, I mean, I thought the game was good. I thought the game was again, I agree with him on the replayability. It's like it's not really once you play the game, you're probably not going to go back and run through it again or whatever, unless you want to hear the jokes, right? Like the laughter.
Right.
That's a part of the experience. But yeah, I mean, if you got a PlayStation and you haven't played it, I definitely say check it out. I'm not sure the price. They didn't say the exact price. That information is not out yet. But yeah, let's jump into the next topic, man. The next topic is talking about Xbox, man. 1,300 plus retro games coming. It's already out now. It came to Xbox last week. So if you don't know, this is they basically have partnered or acquired Antstream Arcade, which is pretty cool, man. Basically, it has a lot of games, over 1,300 plus retro games from various generations of gaming. They announced, they did a whole live stream about it. It's not coming to Game Pass, although they kind of hinted that some of the games will eventually, but the whole thing is not going to come to Game Pass. So the price of it is $80 for lifetime access, right? Which is the price of a game, the deluxe edition of a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you could pay, I think it's $29.99 a month, and it does have a lot of games that you get for it. Again, it's over 1,300 plus retro games. These aren't just some whack games. These are games we all played, like games like Street Fighter, Zombie Ate My Neighbors are all there. What's your thoughts on this, man? You excited? Is this something you're gonna check out? No, you think it's a good move for Xbox? Like, what's your thoughts on this?
I think the retro thing is kind of oversaturated, man. Like Xbox been selling their older games for a while now. PlayStation starting to sell, subscribe, making you subscribe to play the older games now. Nintendo Switch got a whole bunch of libraries. I mean, well, they got a whole bunch of their older games now. They got Sega, they got Nintendo, Super
Right.
Nintendo, uh, N64. While I am excited about Zombie Ate My Neighbors because that's one of my favorite games. Once
Yeah,
you said
fire,
that,
huh?
I was
Right.
like, oh yeah, okay. And Street Fighter and a couple of other things. My
Yeah.
question is it $80 a year? $80
No, no, no,
one
no.
time payment?
So yeah, so if you don't want to do like a subscription or something, right? You can pay $80 for lifetime access, so you don't have to pay any more. Or I believe it's $30 for the year. I believe. Yes. So it's $30 a year or $80, and then you're done, right? So I mean, the price it is what it is. Of course, they're gonna try to make their money off of it, but I think it's a cool idea. I mean, to be honest, and like I gotta check out what games are there because I know you can sort in the menu by like
Mhm.
console, you can sort by year, right? Which I do like. But if it's enough games on there I like, I probably would just go ahead and get the $80 one, right? Because you don't only have to pay it once.
Right,
Um,
right.
so I
Some
don't know,
Mario
man.
games on here too.
Right. So what's your thoughts on it, man?
I would really have to comb through the games. I mean,
Okay.
because like I said, I got access to retro games on multiple systems, including Xbox with the Game Pass. They got retro games
Right.
on Game Pass. Even Xbox Gold, which they're about to merge with Game Pass, has retro games that they continually put out every month or so. So I would have to see. I would have to look and see because I want to hold my expectations. I don't
Right.
want to be like, oh, 1,300, just looking at the number, thinking it's cool. It could be 1,300 trash games. I wouldn't be excited at all.
Facts.
Street
That's a fact.
Fighter is not gonna save it. You know what I'm saying? If it's
That's a
all
fact.
trash, like
Yeah.
so. Hopefully they put the list out before they drop the actual thing so people can see. I doubt they do that just to make us have to buy it to see what's up. They might hit us with a couple titles and then hit us with the plus more
Yep.
and make us have to figure out what the more is when we buy it. So while I do think it's a dope idea to do $80 lifetime, because most other places most other systems is gonna make you pay a subscription for it
Yep.
and just milk you as long as they can. this just adds more fuel to the fact that uh what I believe, which is Xbox do not care about monopolizing the gaming industry. They just want anybody to be able to play and at any time. You know what I mean?
So I like the idea. The idea is cool. If you want to, if you like, if you're a big fan of retro games and nostalgia, definitely go check it out. But I'm like, don't let this get in the way of the games that was promised years ago, right?
Right.
I feel like we keep seeing and yes, I know Starfield has a release date, of course, right? But like Fable, Outer Worlds, like two, like you know what I mean. There's games that
Hmm.
basically we saw a few years ago that we have no update on. So it's like all this is cool, but I feel like a lot of this is starting to become very smoke screenish, where it's like, oh yeah, remember that Fable game that y'all was hype on? Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so we got 1,300 plus retro games. I'm like, nah, man. Like, so it's cool. Like I said, I probably will check it out. To be honest. But at the same time, I'm like, it's time to move on to like what we really here for, and that's the newer games, you know. So
Right,
that's
right.
kind of how I feel about that. But all right, yo, let's see. We got so Jess said basically taking the page out of Nintendo's book with the online access, which I definitely agree. Which I definitely agree. And see, that is cool as hell. Though. Yeah, definitely have to check it out, especially that Zombies Ate My Neighbors, because that's the game right there. That's the game I
Yeah, that's
love.
my game. That's my game.
So, yo, with that said, all right, man. So before we get out, let's get to the spin wheel, man. How many questions are we gonna do this week? Wait, we gonna do two,
I,
three,
I we should do 3 to 4 like we did last time.
three
Keep
to
it
four? All right, bad,
keep it
bad, bad, bad.
consistent.
All right,
You
cool.
know.
So let me get this up right now. Get into this. Feel free to put your comments down in the comment section as well. Definitely want to hear what y'all think about this. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Right.
Let's
We
see.
would love for y'all to answer these questions too. This ain't just for us.
Facts.
It's for y'all as well.
All right, ready? First up,
Okay.
in the realm of multiplayer gaming, what aspects create a strong sense of community and camaraderie among players? It's a good
Uh,
question.
yeah, that's a good question. In my opinion, oh, do I you want me to answer it first or you want to answer it
Yeah,
first?
go ahead. Yeah, yeah, go
In my
ahead.
opinion, it would be the chat. Um the chat really. And when I say chat, I mean like in-game chat, like COD. Even though the lobbies was toxic back in the days, they still toxic right now. I
Yeah, hell
think
yeah.
that create a strong sense of community because everybody in that community already knew if they had a bad day, a good day, whatever kind of day you had, you could go in the chat and take whatever that emotion is during that time out on um whoever you was playing against, and it wasn't taken in any way besides like
Absolutely.
that's just the way the community is. And I think that's pretty cool. I think I'm gonna use COD again because they really the ones that's pioneering a lot of good aspects when it comes to the multiplayer gaming community camaraderie type stuff with the
Right.
chat. Because they brought in proximity chat too. So like Warzone, for example, um when you used to play Warzone, the first one, you only was able to communicate with your team, and that's not real life. When you running around and people in the building making noise and doing whatever they doing, giving themselves
Right.
away, you're supposed to be able to hear that. So with Warzone 2, well, yeah, Warzone 2,
Yeah.
they made proximity chat a thing, so you could talk to people throughout the game, and it made such a better experience. You know what I mean? Like I was in a position where it was me, Vic, and a couple of other homies. We was in the game, we doing our thing, and we saw one player by himself running, getting chased by like 3 people. We saved him. We saved them, put them on our team. I got the video of it too. It was a pretty cool experience. You know what I'm saying? We
Absolutely.
saved them. We just called out like, "Yo, it's people chasing you. Get in the building." We saved him. He ended up joining our team. He res all his boys. It was like 8 of us running through Warzone, just going at people. It was cool, and experiences only happen like that through the idea of a chat and a proximity chat. So I think that's one of the
Absolutely.
major features that help.
Yeah. So basically you touched upon the point. It's like that especially that online chat right there is no different from when back in the day on the 64 when we used to all sit on the same couch, right? It's no
Right.
different. Like it's the same thing, but they found a way to basically through the internet and online gaming to make that come back. Like you said, if I to any gamer in the world, if I just bring out online lobbies and how they were toxic, they'll start laughing, right? Because like, we all remember
Yeah.
experiences like that. And I think that's what it is. Like the fact that whether it's Call of Duty, NBA 2K, NBA Live, Madden, like you know what I mean, like there's that
Hmm.
chat experience of like people do, like that multiplayer experience, like there's nothing that can beat it. Like I love single player games just as much as the next person, but at the same time, that online experience you get, you know what I mean. Like remember the first
Right.
time you made somebody quit in Madden, right? You made somebody quit in 2K, you know what I mean? Like it's just
Right.
that
That's
it's that
fact.
yeah, man. It's just or like back in the day, the first time you played COD, you was playing with somebody from Germany or Britain or something. They cursed you out, right? Like yo, it was just a different experience, bro. Like it really was. So I mean, but that was a good question though. Like I really like that question.
Yeah. Nah,
But
that was dope.
let's get to this next one.
All gamers got a story. That you just ask them their gaming
Right.
story.
Absolutely. If you could only choose one, would you pick PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo? So we're not even talking about the current console. We're talking about the brand. Whew.
You
I'll
can
go
go
first on this
first.
one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go first on this one. Damn, I gotta go. Look, man, I love PlayStation, especially a PlayStation 2. I love Xbox, obviously, currently, especially a 360, to be honest. But I probably go Nintendo only because from the SNES to the 64, I'm a big fan of the GameCube. Um, I love the Wii. You know what I mean? Even though I like the 360 and PS3 a little bit more. I wasn't a fan of the Wii U, and I love the Switch. I absolutely love the Switch. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like I'm thinking about it, like damn, I don't necessarily want PlayStation, Xbox to go away, but I gotta pick Nintendo, man, because I'm thinking about it, like the wrestling games of the past, Smash Bros, the Mario single player games, Zelda, of course. Yeah, you're probably Nintendo. That's tough though.
The dad in me, the dad in me says Nintendo
Okay.
because it's just to play. Nintendo is for the kids.
Right.
It's way better to play with your kids. Um, the this in the Switch, the Switch is just such a beautiful system slash portable device. You just pull off the ends of the stick, hand everybody one. You don't need to buy all these bulky controllers to be all around your house just to make sure everybody play. Plus
Absolutely.
the actual gaming games from when I was a child all the way to now has not let me down. Xbox obviously came a lot later as well as PlayStation.
Right.
Um, so as a dad, I'm sorry got to answer this the two different ways, but as a dad, I gotta go Nintendo.
Okay.
But as a person, like with my own individual, without being a dad, outside of all of that, I would shoot for Xbox because Xbox is for the gamer.
Right.
Like it's
Right.
for the gamer. Nintendo's the better experience. Xbox is the better uh system. I mean, because you
Yeah. Yeah.
can
Yeah.
play it anywhere. Like if I ain't have a console, Xbox console, I could still out and I just had a computer, I could pull up Xbox game on my computer and play.
It's a
If
good
I
point.
only had my phone, I could pull it up on my phone and play.
It's a good point. It's
So
a
I
good
would
point.
say Xbox as me outside of me.
Yeah, I'm curious because I know there's a lot of people. I mean, I can make the case for all three, right? PlayStation going back to whether it's Crash Bandicoot, Tekken, all those games, right there. PS2 had a bunch of them. PS4, Last of Us, Uncharted. You know what I mean? Spider
Yeah, I
Man.
love Uncharted.
Um,
That's my shit.
yeah. Xbox, obviously, we're both huge fans, so we know the case. And Nintendo, yeah, that's a tough one. Damn, that's a hard hitting
Uh,
question. All right, let's see what else we got. What else we got? First off, shout out to Bobby Zaloga. If I mispronounce your name, bro, I'm sorry. He's the biggest Kansas City Chief fan that I know. Uh,
Oh yeah,
um,
that definitely
question is,
is.
do you think video games are a waste of time or worthwhile entertainment? All right, you know what? I'm gonna take this one first, man. So obviously, I think it's worthwhile entertainment, right? But I lately I've been seeing a lot of stuff in media about people about folks saying, it's a waste of time and it's a loser thing. Basically the stuff that we used to hear back in the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like basically it's starting to resurface. A lot of it is just podcast hot takes and all that. And I think the most notable one was I think Vlad from Vlad TV was like, oh, if you ain't making money on video games, blah blah blah, like you're wasting your time, you're a loser. You could be putting that in to making money or whatever. But to that I say, man, you get paid to snitch on people, like Vlad defense, like like
shots fired.
right. So I'm like, obviously it's worthwhile entertainment, man. It's like just said, it's media. It's just as valid as books and movies or TV. I think that's a great point. But I do acknowledge there's people out there who think it's a waste of time. You know what I mean? A lot of times back in the day, you'd hear some of our parents say like, yeah, just wasting their time on that game. But now I think the industry, you see, there's a lot of folks who got rich off it. A lot of folks who's paying their bills with it. A lot of folks who's just doing it, whether to cope with anxiety, basically depression. You know what I mean? Like it's super worthwhile, man. Like all I'm saying is people do that. Some people they do whatever it is they do. I say leave the gamers alone. That's my take on it.
I would say I'm gonna say social media is trying to turn people into robots. The grind culture of social media is making people miserable.
Right,
People, you need a balance, and I feel like having a hobby is a fine balance. And the video game is just that. It's just a hobby.
right,
You can be very successful and still play video games. You can go look up LeBron James in video games. When he first got drafted into the league, he was he was carrying his video game. Now that the PS5 came out, whatever system he liked to play, I forget which one it was. I think it's the PS5. He carrying that too. So I don't
absolutely,
think he ever stopped playing video games, and he pushed that. He showed his kids his love for video games, and before his kids even became popular basketball players, they were successful off playing video games. And
absolutely,
it wasn't because they was trying to, they were just having a good time playing video games. It's just a hobby. And I think people that push that you need to be working all the time, they those are not happy people. You cannot be
absolutely,
happy always pushing work.
right.
That's not healthy to just want to work all the time. Like,
Absolutely. And that goes right to Josh's point. So why does every hobby have to be a side hustle? Hustle culture puts people in early grades. We're not alive to do nothing but work. Basically, it's
right, it's
exactly what you said. Like, yeah.
gotta be a
Like
balance.
real quick before we get to this last question, Levante Arnwood said, any sleeper games y'all would recommend? And how about FIFA dropping the rights and now it's called FC 24? So it's funny because a lot of people were like, yo, where's FIFA at, right? Because they've been seeing that name. It's a money thing, a licensing thing, man. It's gonna be the same game.
Yeah.
Still gonna be, if you liked it before, you still gonna like it. In terms of sleeper games, it's a good question. I'd say right now, if you have Xbox Game Pass, check out Exo Primal. I know it's hit or miss. Some people love it, some people don't like it that much. Being as Game Pass, I say check it out. In terms of games that are on all the platforms, PlayStation, um, what's a good title? I'd say, hell, I track to Yomi as well because I just finished that. I thought that game was incredible. I believe that's on PlayStation as well. Do you have any sleeper games?
Sleepers, nah, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't have no sleeper games as far as something you could play right now. And the games that I'm anticipating, they ain't sleepers either.
Right,
I honestly, when it comes to games, I'm not sure that is really sleepers. It might be some that you just haven't heard of. I don't wouldn't call it a sleeper though. Like Track the Yomi, I wouldn't call that a sleeper because it's a really good game. It's just a game that a
yeah,
lot of people wasn't on. Like if you like seafood, Track the Yomi is kind of in that realm
right,
of game.
right.
You know, it's a
That's a
pretty
good point.
difficult fighter game, but it looks totally different. It's not the same
Yeah, yeah,
stylistically. but I wouldn't say it's a really good game. So as far as sleeper games go, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But the games that I have been enjoying, I could tell you about, like Diablo 4. A lot of
Yep.
people don't play Diablo, but again, that would make it a sleeper in some people's eyes, but I wouldn't consider that a sleeper game. It's a really
Yeah.
good
No.
game that you should check out
It's a
if you
huge game. Right. Right. It's a
right.
huge game that millions of folks check out. I don't know if that constitutes a sleeper.
I
I
mean,
definitely
but a
agree
lot
with
of
that.
people I ask about it, they don't play. Like I don't have any friends in my circle that play Diablo. So like, that's what
So
I
I mean,
mean.
but then again, we we both know a bunch of folks who they get hyped for the next console, right? The
Mhm.
brand new console coming out, I'm hyped, and it's like the only games they play is 2K and Madden. Yeah, I mean, like,
Right.
yo, I can't wait. This new console. Oh my god, it's gonna be crazy, bro. Yo, what games you getting? 2K and Madden. You get
Just to
anything
see the
else?
sweat
Nah.
dropping down off people's face.
Right, right,
Look,
right, right.
just want to see that new
Like,
sweat, the new sweat animation they got.
right. Like it's like, all right, bro. It's like, I'm hyped for it though. It's like, are you? Like, it's like, you're not. But all right, yo, let's get to this last question, then we'll get out of here. Appreciate the questions though. How long do most games take to finish? Well, I mean, back in the day, you could probably complete a game in like a legit one sitting. I remember Sonic 2, you could beat that game in one sitting.
Right.
Now, shit. I say right now, on average, I say most games, especially single player games, right? I say about 20 hours minimum, to be honest. Because they
Uh,
pack them with so many side missions and stuff like that, and missions that are like loosely based on the main story. That like to really basically beat a game. I think Spider Man was about 20. Miles Morales was a little shorter because that's kind of like quasi DLC. Still a great game, but like I think the new Spider Man was somewhere around 30. Obviously, you got games of like God of War, which is like 30. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Combined hours. I'm not talking about one sitting. Obviously, it would take you that long to beat it in one sitting. Um, so I'd say around about 20 about 20 hours of gameplay.
It ain't too many people sitting down for 20 hours to play a game. We live in a society that force you to work multiple
Right.
jobs. So it's not too
Right.
many people sitting
Right.
down for 24, 30 hours. I mean, I feel like you are correct with how long the game would normally take to beat if if you're not doing side missions, or if you're not watching the cutscenes. With the cutscenes, they probably push it up
Right.
a little bit up closer to like 40 to 60. You know what I mean? Like, or if you
Right.
watching all of the cutscenes. But I mean, some people do that. I'm one of those people that like to watch the cutscenes for the most part, unless it's
Same.
I
Same.
don't have a ton of time and I'm trying to get some type of action into my session, then I'm skipping it, and then I just have to deal with it on the second playthrough if it's a good game. But if it's not, I just don't know what happened. I'm just murdering people or doing whatever the game calls me to do. You know what I mean?
I feel you on that. Yeah, man. Question from Jess said, what do you prefer, longer games or ones you can do in one sitting? What's more worth the price? I'd say, to be honest, both are worth the price as long as the game is good, right? I like there's some games that are too drawn out. I think it was not Exo Primal. There's a game that's coming out in the fall. They was like it's like 70 hours. I'm like, it's a little crazy. Like, like you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
that's different.
It's a little much. Yeah, it's a little much. Shout out to Chris Osmond for checking out the show, of course. Shout out to Mary said, what up, squad? What up, what up, what up?
What's good?
In terms of Jess's question, what can you do in one sitting? What's more worth the price? Both are worth the price. What I prefer, I'd still probably pick the longer game, to be honest, because if I beat a game in one sitting, I mean, if I have time to beat one in one sitting, that's kind of crazy. But if I do beat one in one sitting, I kind of feel like I'm done with it, right? So like
Right.
Spider-Man, I like how to put the game down, come back to it. I got an hour to spare. Let me go hop on Spider-Man and beat a mission or something. Or Grand Theft Auto, let me go play a mission or something, or just drive around. So I do kind of appreciate the longer games. What about you, Wave?
Um, the same. I feel like the shorter games are more like the 2D games that you just go from one left to right, or like Double Dragon or the Teenage Mutant Shredder's Revenge.
Yep.
Games like that is like on the shorter side. Those are just you hack and slash, beat you up, get you out of here kind of games. There's really no storyline. Like if you a person that prefer storylines like myself, I know you like a good storyline in the game as well. You want a longer
Absolutely.
game so that way you could one get the character development, get some type of emotional attachment into the game. So when they hit you with the curveball or uh somebody in the game that you kind of get emotionally attached to get taken out or whatever happens to them, you kind of feel it. So I like games that kind of make you have that emotional roller coaster to put it in a way that everybody can understand what I'm saying.
Now, of course.
So I think the longer games is better, but when you have a shorter game and it's not priced too crazy, those could be good too, like Shredder's Revenge for like I think it was like $30 or 20 something like that. It was like $20-$30. I don't think that's bad. I'm a Teenage Mutant Ninja
Right.
Turtle fan, and I played that game
Absolutely.
multiple times with my friends too, because those are multiplayer style games. Um, Even games like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I know I spoke about Call of Duty earlier, but Call of Duty they have like a story mode. That story mode ain't that long, but
No,
it's
it's about 8 hours, I
definitely
think,
right.
minimum.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's something that you could get mostly invested to within them 8 hours.
Absolutely.
Because one, they spent time developing those characters like Price. Everybody know Price. If you're a Call of Duty fan, you know Price.
You have to know Price, and
Right.
as well as Ghost too. Yeah,
Yeah,
you have to. You
Ghost
have
is a
to.
couple characters in that game. You learn and you feel like you know them outside of the game, which is kind of crazy. And they can do that with a shorter game, but it's more likely to happen with a longer game. So it kind of depends on you. If you like character development, storylines, you might want a longer game because you ain't gonna
Absolutely.
really get that with a shorter game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yo, appreciate. So, we about to get out of here. Appreciate the love and support as always. We will be back next Sunday. Um, Same time, 5 p.m. Well, Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Let's make that distinction. Appreciate all the love and support as always. Be on the lookout for more posts and stuff as that. And we gotta do a deep dive soon, man. We gotta talk about it. We gotta figure out what we want to do. There are some gaming anniversaries coming up. No console celebrating like a 25 or anything like that. Not that I can think of. Maybe the Game Boy Color. But with that said, I'm JB. I will catch y'all next week. Tsunami Wave, take it away.
Shout out, sorry, shout out everybody for coming through. Jess, Levante, Mary, Bobby.
Yep.
We absolutely appreciate you guys. We hope to see you next week. Tell a
Absolutely.
friend to tell a friend, so we could all come in here and have a good time. Shoot the breeze, talk video games. Yeah, enjoy your night, enjoy your week. Monday is tomorrow. conquer
Absolutely.
conquer the week though. All
Make
right,
it through.
peace and love. Conquer the week, make it through however you got to do it.
All right, we out. Peace.
Peace and love.